Okay, we've been docketed for our 10th review as it relates to mom's progress, and our 11th review as it relates to dad's progress and permanency planning on the remaining children that are under the court's jurisdiction in this file. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Carson Howitt, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Ms. Tasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Conrad.
Leslie Conrad, Fostering Solutions, foster care specialist.
Michael Brooks, I'm the attorney for the mother, Pamela Foote. Pamela, if you'd identify yourself.
Pamela Foote, mother.
Aaron Foote, father.
And attorney for Mr. Foote.
We talked out in the hallway and said he'd see me out here.
We're looking for Mr. McFarland.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fry.
Yeah. Yes, and from Mr. Fry. He's only missing one so far today. Okay, Ms. Berger, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? We're looking for Mr. McFarland and Mr. Fry.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ariel Berger here on behalf of the minor child TF.
Ms. McFarland, would you like to go to your appearance?
So you want my appearance, Your Honor? Michael McFarland, representing father. Please introduce yourself.
Aaron Foote, father.
Thank you.
All right, and as we wait for Mr. Fry, perhaps we can just avoid any updates that pertain to his client, the oldest child. Oh, there he is, Mr. Fry. We have your appearance for the record, please.
Brian Fry, hearing for Michael Plus.
Thank you. Great. All right. We don't need to avoid anything. Mr. Howitt,
Yes.
let's start with your report whenever you're ready.
I believe the oldest child may have a question. Looked like he was raising his hand potentially.
Mr. Fry, did you have a chance to talk with your client before today's hearing? And do you need to talk with him? I hesitate to just.
Michael, do you want to talk to me?
Yes, please, Brian.
I can talk to you on further information. Thank
You
you.
just want to pop up in the hallway and I'll set you up for the breakout? Okay, so back to plan A.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll get them set. Okay,
Are we on Zoom or not, Your Honor?
yes, we are also on YouTube. All right, Mr. Howitt.
Yes. I was able to meet with the three youngest or the three children involved with this review, the three middle children, on January 21st, 2026. I went to see them at their home where they've been living with their aunt and uncle. They had a snow day and had been home pretty much all day. And I think there was about 7 kids present in the home today, which were, some cousins that lived there as well. And they were all playing together. The oldest cousin was running a game, that involved like fake money and building playhouses. And they were all super engaged and like running back and forth, playing with these houses and building them up and, spending the money and competing with each other, but really organized and playing well together. So I was pretty impressed with that. I was able to speak with each of the children during the visit and just observe them in this home with their aunt and uncle and their cousins. And I would say my takeaway is that they're all extremely comfortable there with this family, their caregivers. They're really ingrained with them. They have pictures on the wall and they were all included in the pictures and the collage too. So I definitely think that it's in their best interest to remain in there and work towards juvenile guardianship. I think right now we're just at a licensing standstill, or not standstill, but it's just progressing, maybe slowly but surely. I would say that the two oldest wishes definitely reflect that, staying with their aunt and uncle. And the youngest of those three, we didn't really have a chance to discuss his wishes. He's a bit younger, so sometimes it's hard to keep him focused and on track. So I don't have a ton to report there of what he's wanting at this current visit that I had. I think last court hearing here, we talked a lot about potentially getting an assessment done with regards to parenting time, and I think that there was a good plan in place of having mom do a psychological evaluation and then the children to have the trauma assessment done again with Catholic Charities. And then work from there to see kind of what next steps we might have to take. But it does appear from the court report that mom has not been engaged with Miss Brene Moore since November. So that is a concern of mine, and wondering if we should be progressing any further, especially with my observations in this home of seeing just how comfortable, relaxed, and ingrained they are with this family, and just knowing some of the reports that I have heard from their personal therapists and the previous in-home therapist service provider. So that's kind of where I'm at with those evaluations. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Fry has rejoined us. So if you have any updates as it relates to the oldest child, feel free to share those as well.
Yes.
Can you move that microphone a little closer to you? I had an opportunity to realize earlier that needs
Yes. For the oldest child, I'd say this reporting period has been troublesome. In his current placement, it just has not been going well. His behaviors have definitely escalated. Recently, there was an incident, I believe last week, where it was described to me as he hit, punched, bit, and kicked and choked a staff member there. And he was charged in Wayne County with felony assault with a dangerous weapon and 2 misdemeanor. He spent 2 days in the juvenile detention facility in Wayne County. And the next court date for him is on February 20th up in Wayne County. We've seen these behaviors before with this child, and it just seems that they're extremely escalated right now. And continue to just get worse and worse, and no one up there really has an answer for him. And I think it's been pretty clear that he's going to be needing to look for a new placement, or we're going to be needing to look for a new placement for him to address these behaviors, and whether that's going to be through the court system out there with a detention facility, or looking for a more potentially restricted juvenile facility for him through foster care. But right now the placement up there is just not working out. They haven't officially requested a 30-day or put in a 30-day notice for him. But I attended a meeting yesterday, and they essentially said that it's a 9-month program up there, and he's just not in a place where they think he can be successful in that program. This meeting ended with another incident that had been described to me in the reports that I received throughout the reporting period, but I got to see it firsthand where there was some definitely destruction of property, and he was escalated. So just a firsthand experience for me, and it's telling, and I do worry for the staff up there of being able to control him and protect themselves, and also the child to be able to protect himself from his behavior. So I do still think he's a smart kid. He may not be using his smarts and energy for good. I think they described a situation where the house that he's in has a Wi-Fi blocking system that it cuts off the Wi-Fi at a certain time at night, and the child was able to get around this and hack into it or something. So I'm not much of a computer person, but I know that that's probably difficult and takes some intelligence to do. So I think he's capable. He just may not be applying himself in the right places. But for now, I think he needs a new placement that's able to handle some of these escalated behaviors and in a safe environment. And he needs it as soon as possible too, because I think he kind of has this potential manipulation of them up there where he can get away with some of these behaviors, and knows that there may not be repercussions for him, because they don't really have a punishment system that he is respecting at this point. So I don't think it's in his best interest to stay there. I think it's in his best interest to find another facility that's a little bit better equipped to handle what he's experiencing right now. And I know his wishes would be that he return home to his father, or find another family member that is willing to take him. And if it has to be a residential facility, he would want it to be something with less restrictions right now. Thank you.
Any opening comments from any of our attorneys before we go any further?
No, Your
Not
Honor.
here.
None.
Not yet.
All right, thank you. Testimony then, Ms. Thomas, any witnesses today?
I think Your Honor would ask Ms. Conrad to be sworn in to provide a brief report.
Solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you.
Just like this.
Ms. Conrad, for today's hearing, you've provided a lengthy report, but it includes a few attachments. Are there any updates or modifications that you're aware of that need to be made to any of those attachments that you've included in your report?
Nothing outside of what Mr. Howitt just testified to. The additions would be in regard to the oldest child's involvement with law enforcement this past week.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to the court report portion that you have drafted?
No.
Okay. And have any other documents that you're aware of been circulated outside of the packet that we all have for today's hearing?
No.
All right. Currently, the permanency goal for the children has been juvenile guardianship, correct?
Correct.
And at this juncture, is the agency recommending any change to that permanency goal for any of the children?
No.
Okay. As relates to the parents in this, for this family, are efforts still being made to assist them in maintaining a relationship with their children?
There have been efforts provided to Mr. Foote in that he and the caregivers for the three youngest children and he and the residential placement for the oldest child communicate directly to schedule visitation between father and the children. Yes. He has provided direct communication with the placements to arrange and facilitate those placements. Mother has had suspended visitation with the children for quite some time because there has been discussion at the last court hearing or two regarding her desire to request that the court reinstate some level of contact. The agency and the attorneys met to kind of come up with a plan as to how that might best be evaluated for safety for the children. And we decided to begin with an updated psychological evaluation for Ms. Foote with a specific purpose of determining whether enough change has occurred within her mindset to be safe to have contact with the children. That began today. She met with the psychologist, Dr. Shannon Lauder, this morning for 2 hours. So that is underway.
Your report indicates that the service or I don't know how we're referring to this, but the service with Miss Moore is also still in place, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Yes, there is a standing order, and there has been for the entirety of the case, that Ms. Foote be engaging in specialized parent education and individual trauma-based counseling with Ms. Moore. And that has been ordered throughout the entirety of the case. That is a service that is open and available to Ms. Foote. She engaged in some contact with Ms. Moore last report period, and then this report period saw her twice.
In the report indicates that it's been a couple of months since mom has met with Miss Moore. Is that still accurate, or do you know if she's had any updated meetings?
I have not received any communication from Ms. Moore since this court report was submitted a week ago. So that would be something that Ms. Foote would have to answer. But from the information I was given from Ms. Moore directly, the last time she saw her was in November of 2025.
And the report indicates that the children's individual therapist is currently opining that parenting time with Ms. Foote would not be beneficial for them. Do we have any reports from their therapists to help us understand that a little more?
No, we do not. I have been working diligently to receive reports from Family Medical Center regarding the children's therapy with Kelly Corbett. They're assigned individual therapists through Madison Elementary School. Ms. Corbett did state that she is not allowed by her company's policies to write any sort of opinion or summary letter regarding parenting time specifically for these children. But she did state to me that once the notes are received, there are notes that indicate the children continue to be pretty emphatic in their desire not to see mom currently.
Okay. And were there any other services that were going to be put into place as part of the plan to determine whether the children were ready to be reintroduced with mom?
So the agency spoke with the CTAC Center here in Adrian, who assessed the entire family back in the end of 2023 and did individual trauma assessments for all 7 of the children, as well as kind of a family summary trauma assessment for the whole family unit, and explained the situation. They are willing to reevaluate the 3 children in question and do an updated trauma assessment with the specific purpose of understanding where they are at trauma-wise in regard to contact with their mother. If the psychological evaluation mother completes indicates that another step should be taken. The psychological evaluation may indicate that not enough change has occurred in mother's mindset or psychological functioning to warrant those updated assessments for the children.
Wonderful. And as it relates to the 3 children, it seems that based on your report, they're pretty stabilized in being able to work through some of their trauma history at this point in time. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. They are willing to discuss, and it's not at length, but they are willing to discuss some of their historical memories, events, etc., while in therapy. But in general, and so that is a progressive move for them. They used to refuse to even entertain the idea of talking about their history with their mom and dad. They are willing to discuss it, and they are willing to show some tears or to show some anger in therapy, and then process a bit, and then move on back to class and do well through their school day. They are all doing well in school currently. Their behaviors in the relative home are stabilized. They are living pretty normal kid lives right now. They're involved in extracurriculars. They're involved in their church and their church family. They like to visit with their younger 2 siblings whenever possible, who are in a placement that is friendly with and has a relationship with their caregivers. And they've enjoyed sleepaway camps. They've enjoyed all sorts of normal childhood experiences are happening for these children now, and things are pretty stable all the way around.
Wonderful. As it relates to the parents' individual case service plans, is there anything outstanding that they need to do, or any other referrals that need to be made at this juncture, given the permanency goal and how the children are doing as of today?
In regard to Mr. Foote, he is in agreement with the permanency goal of juvenile guardianship for the 3 children with their paternal aunt and uncle. And so he is not requesting any additional services that he needs to be involved in or to complete to continue working towards reunification. Ms. Foote has been vocal about her desire to have reinstated contact with the three middle children. And as part of that evaluation process, has been provided with two services, the updated psychological evaluation and the continued Brainmore services. No additional services have been requested by Ms. Foote.
Is there anything that you would like to highlight? I know that we heard a lot from Mr. Howard as it relates to the oldest child who is with us today, but is there anything you want to highlight from that element of the case and how that youth is doing?
I would reiterate I would agree with, the agency agrees with all of his comments and assessments. It is undeniable that the agency will be moving forward with seeking approval from the state of Michigan and the court for a move to a more restrictive, safer, more secure residential setting if the juvenile courts do not require detention as a criminal punishment. His needs are not being met at his current placement, and so the search for a higher level of care will begin this week.
Okay. And then is there anything from your court report that you would like to highlight for the record today?
In regards to the three youngest children, juvenile guardianship is hopeful in the coming few months. It appears that the relative caregivers foster home licensing worker will have their foster home licensing study written and completed in the next 2 weeks. It will then be reviewed by his supervisor and then sent on to the state of Michigan for ultimate approval of a foster home license for them. Once that occurs, then the agency will work on applying for the guardianship assistance program for the family so that there is a subsidy attached to this guardianship to assist the children as they grow. And we can successfully request that the court order a juvenile guardianship once that application is approved. So we're hoping to potentially have all of that wrapped up in the next 4 to 6 months, completely ready to order the juvenile guardianship. In the meantime, father is to continue with consistent contact with the children. If it cannot be consistent, then it's asked that he not engage.
Okay, thank you for that. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Conrad. I would ask the court to accept the court report that she provided for today's hearing.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Thank you, they are received. Questions for this witness, Mr. Brooks?
Ms. Conrad, you said the last time the family as a whole was evaluated for a trauma evaluation was in 2023. Did I hear you right?
With the CTAC Center in Adrian, yes.
All right. So that was the better part of 3 years ago, wasn't it?
2.
Pardon me?
2 years, yes. It was December of 2023.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know the December part.
Yes.
Do you think there's any benefit to be had from doing this again? I know it's a big job, 9 people. Do you think that would be helpful to us in deciding what's the best interest for what's in the best interest for these children?
I do not for the whole family unit. No, the 2 youngest children are in the process of being adopted by their caregivers and don't need to be discussed at any part of the family unit for potential reinstatement of contact with mom. In addition, one of this court's requirements for there to be further exploration of whether or not contact for the family should be reinstated was mom's agreement that she fully engage in the court-ordered Brainmore services that have been waiting for her throughout the case. This past report period, that did not occur. It was not a priority. It was not prioritized. It did not happen. So to move forward with all of these expensive evaluations that could open up all kinds of traumatic thoughts and experiences for these children doesn't seem like the right thing to do if commitment to weekly contact with Brene Moore cannot occur.
Now, my last information on this subject is that my client lives in Jackson. Is that yours?
Yes,
And that she works full-time. Is that consistent with what you have?
that is what she reports.
Do you find it plausible that it may be very difficult for her to make those appointments with Brene Moore?
I know that it was ordered of her by this court that she engage fully in that service if there was to be discussion about reinstating contact between her and the children. That did not occur. I can't answer as to why it didn't occur. It was ordered to occur.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Berger, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland, any questions?
None.
Okay, Mr. Fry,
Ms. Conrad.
I think.
Good.
could we have you come to the podium or maybe even just anywhere near closer to a microphone?
That's fine.
Thanks.
How you doing today, Ms. Conrad?
Fine, thank you.
Good. So is the oldest child still able to remain at Sumter House?
At this time, yes, there has not been a request from them that he leave within the next 30 days.
And I know there was some discussion about some juvenile delinquency matters in Wayne County that are maybe pending. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Are they pending in Wayne County then?
Yes.
So they're not being transferred to Illinois?
I do not know if there has been a decision made about transferring them yet. There's another hearing scheduled for February 21st.
Okay.
Suspect we'll learn more then.
So there wasn't a detainment order then issued in that case? Or there,
I do not know the answer to that.
if he's at Sumter House, there's at least not currently a detainment order?
Correct. Yes, correct. He was released.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay, Mr. Howitt,
No questions, Your Honor.
any redirect or follow-up questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any recross?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No.
Thank you, everyone. All right, any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, I would leave it to the parent attorneys if their clients would like to testify. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, any testimony today?
I'd like to call my client Pam Foote.
Okay, Ms. Pamela Foote, come on up to our witness stand.
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Pam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm looking at the report, which I think you've read. You've always been pretty good about this. And one of the things here it says is little progress has been made in your journey since we first met. And I'd like your comment on it. Ma'am?
You want me to comment on how much I've changed since this case first started?
Yeah, it says little progress has been made. I'm reading directly from the report.
I didn't have a job when this case first started. I wasn't living on my own when this case first started. I didn't have my own therapist when this case first started. I didn't have a support system. I didn't have any of that, and I have it all now.
And from your perspective, your evaluation of your personal progress, Has all of this assisted you in adjusting to the situation?
Yes,
How?
by having a job, I have places I have to go, people I have to see, things I have to get done on a daily basis so that I can bring the income in I need to pay rent, to live on my own, to be self-sufficient. Which I
How about-
never had when I was living with Aaron.
Well, you have not had contact with your kids in quite some time. How long?
Over 18 months.
Do you believe, as you sit here today, you're ready to start having contact with your children again?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because a lot has changed in the last 18 months.
Well, so is it with the children. Would you agree with that?
Correct?
And some of them are still expressing reluctance to see you. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I've heard that.
All right. Do you know why they may feel that way?
No, I do not.
Do you think any of your past experiences with your 7 kids had anything to do with that?
It could have.
Yeah.
Because I was very stressed and how did my therapist put it? A helicopter parent. I had to be right on top of everybody at all times. I had to know exactly what was going on.
That's almost impossible with 7 kids, isn't it?
Yes,
Let me ask you this. You got 7 children. Do you think you'd be able to handle 7 kids under the roof, same roof with you?
no,
Okay, fair enough. What would you suggest in terms of contact? Number of kids, how long, frequency?
I would like to have phone conversations with Michael. I would like to start with Zoom calls or FaceTime calls with the 3 middles. I would like the same with the 2 youngest, a Zoom or a FaceTime. And I would like to be able to text or call Madison.
And you are not allowed to do any of those things.
Correct.
Now, so the court understands your circumstances. Brene Moore has reported that you have not been to see her since sometime in November, right?
Correct.
You and she were making progress at that juncture, weren't you? The 2 of you together?
Yes, and due to illness and roads, I was not able to make it in the month of December. And due to work, I was not able to make it in January because I was put on call.
Now, where is your work site, ma'am?
I work all over Jackson, Hillsdale, and Albion. Those are the main places I am.
Nowhere near Adrian.
No,
Is that the situation as the court finds it today? That your work schedule does not take you near Adrian?
yes,
what was the illness that held you back?
I had 2 cases of upper respiratory infection mixed with bronchitis.
Okay. So the fact that you weren't going to see Brene Moore is not because you and she were having a difference of opinion about your progress, was it?
No,
Well, as we sit here, the weather's not about to get any better anytime soon. So you're expressing a difficulty in getting to see Ms. Moore?
yes, it was difficult. It took me 2 hours to get down here today because of the whiteouts.
You are seeing a therapist, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am. I see
Who
her
is it?
virtually. Kim
Pardon me?
Olmsted. Kim Olmsted, I see her virtually.
I see. So that eliminates a lot of the concerns about the weather and travel time for you, right?
And sickness and everything else, yes.
When's the last time you saw her?
Last week,
And the time before that?
the week before,
So you're telling me you see her via Zoom weekly?
correct.
You keep her appraised of what's going on in this court case?
I do.
Would she be willing to come before the court and testify about her impressions of your progress?
I have not asked her, so I cannot answer that question.
Would you be willing to ask her that?
Yes, I would. I can do that tomorrow when I see her.
Thank you. I'd like you to do that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No, I believe that's everything.
All right, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
Still none,
Mr. Fry?
no questions.
Mr. Howard?
No questions.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Witness testimony today, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
Nope.
Mr. Fry?
It's my client. Want to testify?
Well, he's logged in if you want to ask him.
You want to testify, Michael?
Yeah,
Anything you want to tell the court?
sure will.
Hey, you want to raise your right hand?
Wrong hand, sorry.
There you go. You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
How you doing today, Michael?
Good.
What did you want the court to know?
1 second. How am I gonna put this, Brian? Because I told
You wanna-
you. Huh?
Do you want the court to know anything or not, Michael?
Yes.
Okay. What do you want to say?
I would like to have contact with Pam. And I would like to get moved out of this place ASAP, if at all possible. That is all I want the court to know.
Okay. So you did or didn't want contact?
I do.
Okay. Do you want contact with your mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you don't want to be at Sumter House anymore?
Correct.
Where do you want to go?
I would rather be in Finnville with my aunt and uncle. Well, my friend, aunt and uncle, Tiffany and Troy.
Where are they?
Benville, Michigan.
You know their last names?
Harrison Crack.
They're your aunt and uncle?
They're friends of mine, but I consider them my aunt and uncle because I've known them for some time now.
So they're not actually related to you?
Correct.
Okay, so they're friends of the family?
Correct.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you, nothing further.
Does anyone else have questions for Michael?
I do.
Mr. Brooks?
Young man, where'd you get the black eye?
I got into a fight up here.
How long ago did that black eye, you start sporting that black eye?
It started to get worse like yesterday, and then it's not getting any better. It's been getting worse. As you can tell, my eye's starting to bleed.
Was that fight with the people who work there or with somebody else who lives in the house with you?
Somebody else that lives in the house.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, Mr. McFarland?
None, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Howard, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Thomas, did I ask you if you have any questions?
No, but it's okay, Your Honor, I have none. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your testimony, Michael. Anyone else would like us to hear from?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Howell?
No, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this juncture, the youth that are subject to this proceeding have their permanency goal has been juvenile guardianship, and there hasn't been a significant change of circumstances for the court, for us to consider asking the court to change that goal. The Court of Appeals opinion has been released as relates to the two minor children, and that termination was upheld for them to move forward with their adoption. Maintaining the juvenile guardianship allows for the legal relationship to stand and for these children to experience some permanency. It sounds like, based on the caregiver's report, that with dad being consistent, it has helped those three children stabilize. However, I think that's going to be a long-term dynamic that's going to have to be figured out amongst the family and with the therapists who are working with the family and all that additional support. It looks like there's been some progress with the licensure, and as Ms. Conrad stated, within the next 4 to 6 months, we should be able to have that finalized for those children to have finality. As relates to the oldest youth, who I hate referring to in third person because he's here with us today, but want to honor his, I guess, privacy at the maximum extent. It seems like there's a lot that's going to have to be done to stabilize his situation. And perhaps needs to be a further conversation about whether or not it would be appropriate to make him an Act 150 dual ward. But it seems that there needs to be a heightened level of care or a specialized treatment facility that would be able to address his needs. And as it relates to contact, Your Honor, we would defer to the LGAL's opinion and any mental health professional who is working with him to be able to opine on that and whether or not that would truly be in his best interest. Otherwise, Your Honor, we would just ask for another 90-day review to allow us to monitor that progress towards the juvenile guardianship and ensure that the children are getting the services that they need. Thank you.
Any comments, Mr. Brooks?
Well, number one, I want to say I appreciate the thoroughness of Ms. Conrad's report. It's very instructive. The only concern I have is talking about my client that she has made very little progress. How do you know? I mean, she's got some pretty valid problems getting in to see Brene Moore, working the long hours I know she puts in and giving the distance And particularly given the weather the way it's been. I was supposed to go see my grandson in Grand Rapids this weekend for his birthday. Couldn't make it. 11 below zero, weather's terrible. I have some sympathy with her issue. I really do. But I don't think her requests are too outrageous given the circumstances. She is going to see a therapist. I very much would like to hear what she has to say on this subject at our next meeting. But my honest to God goal here is, if nothing else, we get some supervised Zoom or phone contact between Pam and the kids that she thinks would benefit from having that contact. I repeat, supervised visitation. If it doesn't work, you got a supervisor there to step in. And I don't think that after 18 months, I don't think that's a terribly ambitious position to take. And I'd like the court to consider it. Thank you.
Comments, Ms. Berger?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. My minor client has indicated to me that he likes where he is, that he wants to stay there, that he wants to continue living there with his aunt and his siblings. And he, when asked about his family structure, doesn't indicate that Pam is a part of that. And I think that's indicative of where he is in his stage of this case. He reports that he would like to see more of his father, but doesn't really bring up mom. So I think that's relevant and that's important. And I think his wishes are important at this stage. That's why the court has appointed him separate counsel. So that's all I would like to report to the court today. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland?
My client agrees with the guardianship plan for the three youngest as proposed by the agency, and we have no comment the eldest child.
All right, Mr. Fry, any comments today?
Your Honor, obviously my client testified today. He made his preferences known. We'd ask the court to take that into consideration, and we'd ask that the court grant his request. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, I think last time when we were here, and I'm just reviewing my notes, Ms. Foote was engaged with Ms. Moore and had been to 6 or 7 straight sessions, and Ms. Moore did report progress was being made. And now with this most recent report, she hasn't been to a session, and it seems to be that maybe she's prioritizing work over going to the session. And I think it was made very clear to her that these sessions would be, almost a gateway to re-engage with her children. And it still hasn't been her priority to make it there. And then her testimony today, and I don't want to dive back into the many times that this has been explored into her accountability for the children's trauma, but she still stated today that she was a helicopter parent, and she just needed to know everything that was going on. So, excuse me, I'm at a point where I don't think it'd be appropriate to explore this, any further than it already has been. I see regression from the progress that Ms. Brene Moore had reported earlier in the last reporting period. And the kids again are just so well settled where they're at right now. They're engaged with a therapist and starting now to just open up. So at this point, I just don't think it's appropriate to continue that with the assessments that we have scheduled. As far as the oldest child goes, I think it's pretty clear that he needs a change. We need to find something that works better for him, and will give him a better chance of success. And I'd expect a team decision-making meeting or something to happen in the near future to get everybody to come to the table and figure that out for him. And then finally, I think, at this juncture, if, we're not exploring these evaluations any further. With the 3 youngest children involved with this case, I think we're working towards a juvenile guardianship. I think a 6-month review period would be appropriate to allow for that licensing to finalize and just be more efficient on that end. Thank you.
Well, the court finds all interested parties would give a notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. I appreciate Ms. Conrad's efforts in maintaining an open door on supportive services for both parents, and her thorough understanding and exploration of the need to evaluate the risk associated with parenting time between Ms. Pamela Foote and her children. I think the plan that she has in order to determine whether or not any contact would continue to be a risk of harm to the mental health of the children is a good one. And I appreciate her taking the time to put that together. The question really, as Mr. Howitt alluded to, is almost more at this point aimed at the children to see if they've made enough progress and stabilized enough to have contact with their mom without that being harmful to their mental health and behavioral health needs. Because in the past, that's been very well documented that it is a risk of harm to them. I agree with Mr. Howitt. It doesn't look like we've had much, if any, frankly, change at all in Ms. Pam Foote's perspective. I'm happy to hear that she's working well and takes pride in her work and her ability to be dedicated to that. As it relates to the opening of parenting time for her, there was some work that needed to be done for her to understand why her children came into care, to take responsibility for that, to honor the needs of her children, demonstrated even during limited periods of time for purposes of contact and parenting time, because it was having such a devastating effect on them to even just have limited contact with her. And nothing's changed really on that front. As he articulated, there was some progress for a limited period of time, and that's been sort of set on the sidelines by Ms. Foote. But I will say that this case remains open for the primary purpose of securing the permanency and stability of the 4 children that are still under the jurisdiction of the court. The court's expectations for the parents at this point are past reunification. We're looking at guardianship for all 4 of the children still concerned by the case. Given that reunification efforts have proven to be something that would not provide the stability and permanency for these 4 children that is necessary. So I appreciate hearing about the progress and their perspective and all of the work that's going to go into evaluating contact between Ms. Foote and the children, because that may be part of what happens when they finally end up in guardianship. And I'm glad to hear that progress on the juvenile guardianship is coming along for the 3 children in the middle. Michael will likely be part of our proceedings for quite some time moving forward as the search continues for the best supportive environment for him. I think everyone that I heard from today agrees with Michael that this isn't the best spot for him at the moment. And Ms. Conrad did reassure us she's looking for a different place for you, Michael. So we'll reevaluate that as we go along, but the qualified residential treatment level of care is necessary, appropriate, is the least restrictive under the circumstances, especially given some of the most recent incidents and challenges that have been presented. So his placement, as well as the placement of the other 3 children that were addressed today, will remain the same. It is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances as we move towards the goal of juvenile guardianship for all of these 4 children. I do find the agency to certainly be in satisfaction of their obligations to the kids and our guardian ad litem, and of course to all of our attorneys. I'll set up our next review hearings. I don't think we can go 6 months, even though I appreciate where Mr. Howitt's coming from on that. But for funding purposes and to keep track of some of these more dynamic pieces that are moving, like some of these evaluations and updated trauma assessments and what's happening with the oldest child, I think we need to maintain our schedule of 3-month reviews. I would offer to the parties the opportunity to come back for a review on April 21st at 2:30 PM. And then again for July 21st, also at 2:30. So we could plan out, and if we need to move those as we get closer, then so be it. But July 21st at 2:30 and April 21st at 2:30 will be our next two reviews, which will also be permanency planning hearings in the event that we need to move on anything for the kids. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. Michael, do you need some time to talk with your attorney, or is this a question for me?
It's a question for you and my attorney, Judge Sala.
Mr. Fry, do you want to?
You want me to talk to you so you can ask me, Michael?
I'd prefer to talk to you, Pam, and Judge Sala, please.
Well, it's either on record or off record, so I'm happy to set you up with a breakout room with your attorney if you like, but we're finished with today's proceedings.
Can we do it off record, please?
Okay, I'll be happy to set you up with a breakout room. Mr. Fry, if you'd like to log in, I'll set that up for you. But we're finished.